Hello and welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel, where I'm passionate about helping victims of all ages and all genders overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. Over here, we have been coming together, building a community under the umbrella of Justice for Shanquilla Robinson. And along the way, we have acknowledged other stories. We've been learning, I know I have, and discovering a lot of information, and it's starting to form a puzzle picture of why things are the way they are, why we aren't getting any justice. Hey, Sharon, thank you so much. Come in and please hit the like button. Why we haven't been able to get justice and the reason why I believe, and then we've got some new evidence, not new evidence, but new information, new revelations for me too, on how this government has been manipulating us, and they have been puppet master, have had their hand in our back, just doing puppet mastery stuff to us and really controlling us, causing all of this negative energy and stuff like that. Today, we're going to be talking about the Trayvon Martin situation and how that all started, it played a part in what's going on today with the Black Lives Movement. I'm sorry, the Black Lives Matter movement, and how the media is trying to paint a picture to manipulate us. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm 53 years old, a proud Gen Xer, a proud mother of three adult children, two XY chromosomes, and one XX. And it's a real shame that in today, 2024, we have to say those kind of things because they have just destroyed regular English, regular math and science to where saying male and female, woman and man, are they're trying to eliminate, and it's another form of control to be able to control and manipulate us. That's why it's super important that we come together. And like I said, we've been using the umbrella of Justice for Shanquilla Robinson because we believe that if we can stand our ground, and we see that it's already been going on for more than a year, that if we can stand our ground and get justice, that we can leverage that power to get justice for our poor women in the past, poor victims of the past that have not received any justice. So I know after April, when we were told that it wasn't enough information, I started trying to rally us up, saying that we needed to get political. And I do believe that that's how we are kind of losing out on a lot of stuff. It's because some of us, a lot of us, are refusing to be political or refusing to actually wake up. We want to be asleep, and that's another reason why I feel like they've changed the meaning of this whole woke thing, because they are they are changing the words, and this is even in the scriptures too, that these kind of things are gonna happen. That they're changing the word to make good mean evil and evil mean good. And that's why it's super important that we stand on the truth, that we believe the truth, and we continue to acknowledge the truth and not allow them to silence us. They want to silence our voice so that wickedness can continue to run rapid. And oftentimes, when they do silence us, people forget. People forget, and then they can come in and introduce the lies. And if you haven't been focusing on standing firm on the truth, it's easy to get distracted and caught up in this in the lies and the new narratives and stuff like that. So I recently have kind of stumbled on this whole thing. Like this Trayvon Martin thing happened back in, I want to say, either 2012 or 2013. And I remember hearing about it. I was in my 40s at the time, but I didn't, I wasn't really keeping up with it because I felt like it really didn't concern me. And, here we go again, another poor black person that's been racially profiled. And, here this happens again, right? So they tell us this stuff. And for the most part, we kind of, I know I did, I accepted it. And I was like, what? You can't walk down the street, be black and all, getting outraged on that. And then all of the all of the stuff that happened in there, how the media kind of, manipulated it and stuff. So today's video, we're going to be going over some documentaries and some information that's going to be factual, and it's going to it should jolt you out into awake to see how this is exactly what's happening here. And one of the main reasons why Shanquilla's not getting any type of justice is because this whole thing, this Black Lives Matters, is set up to highlight, like I said before, they try to switch it around to show good as being evil and evil as being good. Some of the things we know about Shanquilla is that she was a contributing member of society. She was young, she had her own business, she was contributing to society. She was well liked, she was loved, she was a woman. But what they want to do is highlight these degenerative, these negative, these black males, and to get everybody upset and worked up about racism when it's not even the case. And so I'm going to kind of break us in kind of a little bit gently here with a few shorts, and and these shorts are pretty deep and really say a lot of stuff. So let's see, this first one I want to go off with some people, that most of us know. I have one from let's see, I'll go that second. All right, this is from, okay, let's see. Let's see. Thank y'all too. I see some people over there. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I know that this topic is going to, a lot of times black people, we just get outraged and we don't want to look at the truth. Like we want to take that narrative and continue to be victims, And like I've said before, what we want to do is to overcome. This channel is set up to help victims overcome the fear of facing the abuse to become survivors. And this whole form of manipulation by triggering us and causing us to flip out and do all of these crazy things is a form of abuse. You're not going to be a survivor if you continue to, hold on to this whole thing about abuse. All right, so we're going to start with a quick little short here. All right. So, all right, here we go. Let me share the screen. All right, so let me get some volume over here. But this is a short from the Officer Tatum.
Need a hand. You shouldn't have an ounce of respect for anybody claiming Black Lives Matter at this point when they don't give a flying flip about black police officers. They don't care about black conservatives. They care nothing about black people in the hood. They don't even raise money for people in the hood. They don't care about black men who are out here doing the right thing, that need a hand up, that need help out. How many businesses have they gave these millions of dollars to? How many black businesses have they sustained during the shutdown? None.
Wow.
How much money went to George Floyd's family that they raised after his death? None.
Wow. He said how much money went to George Floyd's family after his death that they raised? None. Okay? So, none. None money, none of the money, they didn't get any money there, right? Right? And they got a lot of money utilizing that name and putting him on this platform here.
How many went to any of these people? They have done nothing but sit around and bash people as a racist, domestic, terrorist organization. That's how I look at them. If you don't want people to not like you, get your stuff together and start supporting people in this country or shut your freaking mouth. You shouldn't have an ounce of...
All right, so he's pretty much telling us that we shouldn't respect them because they're just using this, name only, and really aren't doing anything for the Black community. All right, now here is another little short from another content creator. This one's from Candace Owen. Candace Owen about this Black Lives Matters too. So hang on here. All right, our next one.
Hey there.
That this narrative, which we were all lied to about, inflated an organization that purported to be about Black Lives Mattering. I went into the finances.
Yeah, what did you find?
What I found was that millions and millions of dollars are going to trans organizations.
Millions and millions of dollars are going to trans organizations. Again, all this stuff is tying back into why Shanquilla is not getting any justice. All this stuff was already in the background and part of their foundation before October 29th, 2022. This is what Black Lives Matter is about. Not a hardworking Black woman who had her own business at a young age, who was contributing to society.
What kind of organizations?
Quite literally, trans organizations. Like, we focus on providing trans houses. One was, we are focused on building the first ever fully transgender district in San Francisco. We are focused on, they're all buying houses and building districts. I'll say that. It's a lot of real estate. Wow. We are focused on providing a oasis for transgendered people in Ohio, right? House of Gigi, House of Tulip, a transgender district. We are focused on sex workers, all sex workers.
Wow.
How does any of this go to furthering Black lives, right? We found that $30+ million went to the stock market.
30+ million. Millions. Yet they gave George Floyd family nothing. Zero.
I thought this was about tearing down the institutions of white supremacy. That this narrative, which we were all...
They're using that as an excuse, as a way to confuse people. And Black people are the ones that's really supporting this, and we're the ones that's just walking around being puppeted. They are our puppet master, and they just are manipulating us because we refuse to wake up and take possession of our own minds. We have to do that. All right, so again, like I said, we're gonna get started. I'm warming you up with some of these shorts so it don't be like we just plop right into this a long documentary. And this man did a lot of research, and there's a lot of videos and a lot of evidence on this whole thing. That's that. Right. So later on, there was talk about Black Lives Matter in their finances, like how they was just pretty much putting this out together. It was a money grab, as the young people say, a money grab. Right. So hold on. Here's some stuff on the news about Black Lives Not Mattering. And then I'm going to show a couple of videos or shorts of Black people taking this as an excuse to go out and steal and uh, steal and loot stores and stuff in the name of this whole, all of this. This is bad.
Finances under scrutiny once again as tax documents show the nonprofit on the brink of bankruptcy.
Wow.
Here's national correspondent Kayla Gaskins.
All right, so they're on the brink of bankruptcy. And this here came out June of 2023. Wow. It says Black Lives Matter's finances are under scrutiny once again, as tax documents show the nonprofit is on the brink of bankruptcy. Wow. Okay. Wow.
The movement swept the nation.
What do we want? Justice!
But a bright spotlight comes with intense scrutiny.
No peace!
Following the murder of George Floyd in 2020, supporters donated a staggering $90 million.
Wow. And his family didn't get a penny? They gave not a penny to his family? $90 million? And a lot of this money came from white people.
Black Lives Matter, the nonprofit, has spent most of that money, ending last year with a $9 million.
Wow. With a $9 million deficit, meaning that they, out of the 90 million that they got free and clear, they end up owing. They're in the whole $9 million
deficit. Federal filings from 2020 to 2022 show just a third, 30 million, went to other charitable organizations. 22 million went to expenses. This includes millions paid to board members and family members of co-founder Patrisse Cullors. For example, 1.6 million went to the father of Cullors' child for security services. Another 2.1 million went to BLM board member Shaloma Bowers for consulting.
I feel vindicated because 2 years ago I said that this organization was a disingenuous scam, and it has proven itself to be a disingenuous scam.
Wow.
Patrisse Cullors left BLM leadership in 2021 after documents revealed she spent millions on luxury homes in LA and Georgia. She took to Instagram last week, writing, quote, "For the last 2.5 years, I've been relentlessly attacked by the media. So many lies and so much mis and disinformation. They are hell-bent on destroying my life."
This organization has been capitalizing off of unfortunate deaths and tragedies and guilt-tripping people to send them lots of money and donations.
They have really no idea what they're doing, and it shows. So that's why it looks like they're slowly going under.
On their website, BLM calls the criticism misinformation from the right, adding this is what happens when Black people are financially autonomous from white supremacist structures.
See how they've thrown in these words? These are trigger words, right? Black people financially autonomous from white supremacy. They're trying to continue to stir this whole racial tensions and stuff up. Yet, the same Black people aren't doing anything for Black people.
Like the nonprofit industrial complex. We reached out to Black Lives Matter for a comment. We've not heard back from them at this time. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Okay. All right. So like I said, I'm trying to, I'm stringing this together here, y'all. So to see how this is all part of it. This is all part of it. This is all part of it. And this is probably part of the reason why folks wanted to get offended when we started talking about we needed to get political. All right, so all right, so all right, so here we go with, let me just say something. Oh, there's just a few folks up in there. I thank y'all so much for coming in here and for, being okay with where we're getting ready to go with this. So, let's see here. Let's start with our interview. All right, so here's a little clip from that documentary before we get started here. This is kind of a Let me take that back here. Share the screen here. All right, so maybe I should explain who Trayvon Martin is, because, like I said, I had heard about it back in 2012. However, I didn't do any type of research. I just took what they said, you know, at face value, that this George Zimmerman guy was a racist person, and they was using this stand your ground law in Florida, and be careful going to the South because, you know, of these racist people, and you know, horrible to be black. All right, so let me see here. Maybe I'll just see what the what's that Wikipedia says about Trayvon, and we can go from there. Trayvon. Here you go. All right, let me share here. Uh-oh. What Trayvon says. All right, cool. For those of you who don't know. All right. So here we go. Wikipedia is saying that Trayvon Martin, let's see if this carries over. All right, hold on, I gotta reshare it. All right, so this is the Wikipedia, and says Trayvon Benjamin Martin, born February 5th, 1995. Well, my daughter's birthday is February 5th, 1998. All right, so expired February 26th, 2012. Gee whiz, he just turned 17. An African, 17 years old, African American from Miami Gardens, Florida, who was fatally shot in Sanford, Florida by George Zimmerman, a 28-year-old Hispanic American. Martin had accompanied his father to visit his father's fiancee at the townhouse at the Retreat at Twin Lakes in Sanford. One evening of February 26, Martin was walking back to the fiance's house from a nearby convenience store. Zimmerman, a member of the Community Watch, saw Martin and reported him to the Sanford police as suspicious. Several minutes later, an altercation happened and Zimmerman fatally shot Martin in the chest. All right, so there's, you know, more stuff here. I'm not gonna read all of this. We're gonna just kind of give you a little idea of who these people are. Now we're gonna watch a quick little short video, and this is going to be a recap of what happened. All right, let me share this. All right, so this video is 11 years ago, March 27th, 2012. So y'all know how I like to say, let's go back to the beginning and stuff, right? So this here is before all of the riots, before all of the madness. This is shortly after, a month after, because they said he expired, a month after, they said he expired February the 28th of 2012. So here is March 27th, 2012, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's see.
Was walking home from 7-Eleven after buying Skittles and iced tea. Self-appointed neighborhood watch captain George Zimmerman spotted Martin and called a non-emergency police phone line.
This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining and he's just walking around looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
After the call ended, the dispatcher sent a patrol car. According to a version of events newly leaked by police, Zimmerman said he had stopped looking for Martin when Martin accosted him from behind. Martin then floored him with a single punch and began slamming his head into the sidewalk. The anonymous police source, who leaked the account to the Orlando Sentinel, said witnesses have corroborated this version of events. The dispatched patrol officer arrived to find Martin dead on the ground. Zimmerman reportedly was bleeding from the nose. But according to Martin's unnamed girlfriend, it was Zimmerman who instigated the confrontation. In an account given to Martin's family's lawyer and recorded by ABC News, the girlfriend said he had just called her before his death and told her he was being followed. He said he was going to lose his followers shortly before she heard Martin ask, "What are you following me for? What are you doing around here?" came the reply. She said she believes someone pushed Martin because she heard his earpiece fall and the line went dead. Neighbors who called 911 said they saw two men wrestling. Someone can be heard calling for help on one of the 911 calls. Seconds later, Martin was dead. Neighbors who went outside to investigate recall a nonchalant Zimmerman told them to call the police.
Okay, so we got that, and I'll refer back to that, as we go along. But some of the things I want you to listen to, like I said, it's in the beginning, and see how they're trying to paint a picture. They're trying to establish, make it seem like it was something racial, which they said he was a self-appointed neighborhood watch person, and then him saying, "Yeah, I see this black guy walk around like he's up to no good." To me, sounds like he was racially profiling this black person that's walking around in the neighborhood. Okay, so now I'm gonna pop down to pop down to. Okay. Soon I'll put those in there too. But let's go ahead and get started on our on the video here. All right. So do y'all have any questions or any? Let's see what y'all saying up here about what is going on. Have you guys heard of Trayvon Martin? All right. So we got some folks saying it's true and some hello. Hey, how you doing? Let's see Angie saying hello again too. And you're talking about greed for this Black Lives Matter. Yes. Greed, they saying is one of the deadly sins and stuff. So it's real pertinent that they would utilize all this stuff here and start putting out some greed and stuff. Oh, what's going on? Jessica's, thank you. Thank you very much. Says, yes, this case was so sad. Okay, so sad. Like I said, I had heard about it back in 2012, and it actually I had just bought my house on the 6th of February, 2012. Like I said, I had heard a little something, but I was, basking in my own little world. And I was not trying to, I just took it at, this is the thing, and here it is. And then when the dude was found not guilty, I didn't follow the trial. I didn't know any of the true facts. So again, this is me learning about it as is. So here we go. And like I said, just a couple of weeks ago is when I was stumbled upon this video by the document king who did a lot of research, and I was like, taken aback to see, like, wow, the way they are, maneuvering, connecting these dots, and just got the people going crazy on this whole thing, and then too, just to before we go off into, I should explain to who and what Black Lives Matter is about. So the Black Lives Matter is a movement, is a supposedly a social justice movement that advocates for the rights and equality of Black individuals, particularly in the United States. It emerged in 2013 following the acquittal of Trayvon Martin's killer and gained significant momentum after the deaths of other Black individuals such as Michael Brown, Eric Garner, and Tamar Rice. The movement focuses on issues such as police brutality, racial profiling, and systemic racism. It seeks to address and raise awareness about the disproportionate violence and discrimination faced by Black communities. Black Lives Matter uses various forms of activism, including protests, social media, campaigns, and community organizations to push for policies, changes, and societal shifts that promote racial justice. And I do have a little small video too that I can show y'all about what Black Lives Matter is about. Oh, okay, here goes some more some more proof about their um, um, then we'll let y'all see this while I find the one video that I wish to show you. All right, so, and here's some black people talking about the Black Lives Matter.
Of the Black Lives Matter organization finds herself to be a hot topic once again. It is reported that she has quietly been dropped from that of Warner Brothers production studios due to her not producing any content that she was under contract to do for 2 years.
Wow.
It is said that she was supposed to be making a movie about reparations and marijuana and black people, but she didn't produce any content. So
and then what happened? Didn't put none of the money that was given to the organization into use. Didn't do anything with it, but splurge on their own stuff. Like somebody said, greed.
Again, she was dropped, but it's not the first time that Patrice finds herself in hot water, as she's been accused of stealing lots of money from the Black Lives Matter organization to buy real estate and pay her family and all kind of things. But she says people are lying on her. These things are not true. But my thing is, where are the movies, Patrice? You had a deal for 2 years, and they say you didn't produce any movies. Tell us where they are. We'd love to see them.
All right, so that was that. Actually, it really wasn't. I thought I had a positive something on them. All right, so here. All right. Well, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead on. I mean, have you guys kind of understand what's going on, who the Black Lives Matter people are, and all that good stuff? But anyway, let me just show this here to show that even white people are outraged at this and feel like they were scared. All right. Oh, never mind. TMZ. They have problems with you sharing their videos. I don't want to do that because they give me a copyright. All right. So anyway, let me go on back to our little thing here because this is a lot of stuff to watch and a lot of commentary. All right, so this is called, let me share, the Trayvon Martin hoax, the Trayvon hoax documentary. Oh, you followed the whole thing, Jessica? I sure didn't. So anyway, I'm just following it now because I really see how these folks, what they're doing here. All right, Kings of Docs.
I started looking into the Trayvon Martin case because of the 2018 Florida governor's race. The Democrat.
Okay, see how all this stuff is all goes back to politics. All back to politics. 2018 Florida governor's race, right? This
Candidate, Tallahassee Mayor Andrew Gillum.
And it be black people doing it to black people. The Democrats, just like I was telling y'all, they'll be the ones getting all of the money, but nobody else gets it.
Interested me because he seemed like such a friendly, charismatic guy.
Hey, everybody, it's Andrew Gillum here.
Mayor Tallahassee joins you now. Mayor Gillum, welcome to Meet the Press Daily.
What's up, Chuck? Go Canes, man.
But he had a surprisingly radical agenda.
So I want y'all to join me on this mission. Together, we're going to take this state back, flip Florida blue, and flip this country blue in 2020.
Gillum shocked his more mainstream Democrat opponents.
Andrew Gillum seized the nomination for governor despite being third in the polls just a week ago.
And then lost by only a hair to Republican Ron DeSantis in the general election. What caught my attention were comments Andrew Gillum continued to make during the campaign about the shooting of Trayvon Martin.
We know, certainly in my state, in the case of Trayvon Martin, in the same state where Trayvon Martin was killed, for wearing a hoodie, quite frankly.
Look at there.
Then it became about the state.
Look at there. Look how you see how, for wearing a hoodie. Look at that. When that happened 5 years ago,
Stand Your Ground law.
We can look no further than the situation between Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. And because of Stand Your Ground laws, we were able to get away with it.
I had followed the Zimmerman case closely enough to know that virtually everything Gillum said was wrong. The case had nothing to do with Stand Your Ground and everything to do with traditional self-defense.
Mr. Zimmerman has made the statement of self-defense. Until we can establish probable cause to dispute that, we don't have the grounds to arrest him.
What, I wondered, was the reason for Gillum to bring up Trayvon Martin so much? Doing some superficial internet research, I saw that Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon's mother, was a big supporter of Gillum. He's got my vote.
And the truth is, you know what? I'm black. I've been black all my life. So far as I know, I will die black.
How did Gillum's racially charged political narrative work so well?
I'm not calling Mr. DeSantis a racist. I'm simply saying the racists believe he's a racist.
I started to think maybe it was true that Gillum's improbable run was because of Trayvon Martin. So I started wondering, who was Trayvon Martin really? And what was Trayvon's true legacy? I needed to find out. I decided to produce a film about the case and how it affected American politics. In making the film, I got to know George Zimmerman. I got to know Trayvon Martin. And, much to my surprise, I got to know Trayvon's real girlfriend, Diamond Eugene. Diamond was on the phone with Trayvon just before he was shot. I uncovered how Diamond was switched for a fake witness in the most stunning hoax in American judicial history, a hoax whose consequences have been tragic.
Look what happened. Look how they triggered the people to respond like this. This is dangerous.
On anyone's imagination. I would come to call this the Trayvon hoax. The Trayvon hoax was rooted in three major deceptions. The first was that George Zimmerman was a racist loose cannon. I came to appreciate how deep this deception was when I met George. I arrived in Orlando and headed to Sanford. On a cold Florida morning, George met me at a public park on the quiet Lake Monroe. He hadn't done any interviews since the trial in 2013. George seems smaller than you might expect, 5'7", and yes, he looks Hispanic, whatever that means. He is soft-spoken and unfailingly polite. Yes, sir, and no, sir.
George, good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Joel.
Thanks for coming here to talk to me.
It's my pleasure.
Can you tell me where you were politically in the years growing up?
Politically, I was a Democrat. I was an Obama supporter. I had been caught up in the promises of hope and change.
Our time for change has come.
I would say Barack Obama's candidacy did inspire me to become more active.
Can you tell me about your mentoring experience?
I was mentoring two African-American teenagers in...
He was mentoring two Black teenagers. This is prior to him, in the Trayvon meeting.
Suburb of Orlando. Unfortunately, they had a father that was imprisoned for life. So they didn't really have a father in the home.
What kind of things were they getting into trouble-wise that you were able to help intervene with?
Unfortunately, as bad as pulling weapons on their parent or slashing tires, skipping school, really a variety of things that a lot of teenagers from that socioeconomic background struggle with. I take them to restaurants that they hadn't been to, kind of expand their cultural horizons. We spend a lot of time at churches playing basketball, just spending time with them one-on-one, letting them know that they're important. And then whenever I could afford it, I'd splurge and take them somewhere nice. It was inspiring to see a positive change in kids that had a troubled background. I got a lot more from the kids than I think they got from me.
What was happening at the retreat?
So he has a personality where he's giving back, to the community. He is a mentor to some young youth.
At Twin Lakes in the months prior to your joining up with the Community Watch program?
We were being riddled by crime, robberies. We actually had home invasions.
I've heard someone ring my doorbell repeatedly, and I saw two young African-American guys. They broke into my house. I heard some bangs downstairs, and he was shaking the doorknob trying to get in. And I was sitting there with a pair of rusty scissors and my son in one arm.
Neighborhood Watch.
So people, we have to accept the fact that, all Black people ain't good. There's some of us that's out there stealing and doing all that stuff. So people have a right to be fearful of criminals, regardless of their race. They said they had to put together a neighborhood watch because there was some criminal activity. This lady just described some criminal activity, and she said it was two Black guys. She wasn't just making that up. I'm not saying that in the past these kind of things didn't happen, but what I'm trying to say is that they are trying to utilize this to hurt our beliefs and how we feel about stuff that's happening today.
It was not something that I had thought of becoming a part of or wanted to be a part of. My wife had urged me to do something. I had seen in the neighborhood that there were neighborhood watch signs up, and I told her that I would go to the next homeowners association meeting. I was willing to do anything to give her a sense of comfort. The police advised us when they came and they spoke to us as a neighborhood watch group that we should call a non-emergency number if we thought there was a crime being committed or we saw someone that we didn't recognize in the neighborhood, and that it was better to be safe than sorry. Several other neighbors had called and reported suspicious persons, property being stolen, and I myself had called a few times. The police were having a hard time actually solving the crimes and catching the people that were committing them.
Can you describe when you left your house that night and why you stopped your car?
I was not on any type of neighborhood watch patrol.
He said he wasn't even on the neighborhood watch patrol that night. He wasn't on one.
Such thing in the neighborhood watch program. I left my house that night simply to go to Target to do my grocery shopping, as I did every Sunday, to prepare my meals for the week. As I was driving out of my neighborhood, I noticed that there was a man who I perceived at that time, in other words, in between the buildings, the rows of the townhouses, in the rain, in the cold, in no particular rush to get out of the rain or the cold. So I decided to do what the neighborhood watch program had instructed us to do. Call the non-emergency number.
What caused you to leave your car?
The reason I left my vehicle was because the non-emergency dispatcher asks me several times which direction did he go in. I felt it was my obligation if I was going to call. And
so he's out of line. He put himself in jeopardy by getting out of the car to go be nosy and try to find out what's going on.
Ask for their assistance, that I should be at least able to give them an accurate description of where he had gone. But in fact, I had not seen him from the time I left my vehicle until the altercation.
Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that. Okay.
And when the dispatcher asked you if you're following him, why did you answer yes?
I didn't mean that I was actually following him because I never really saw him. I just happened to be walking in the direction where I had last seen him. I never saw Trayvon at all during that time. And I saw headlights near my car. So I decided to walk back to my vehicle, thinking it was the police officer.
And then when I got to right about here, he yelled from behind me to the side of me. He said, "Yo, you got a problem?" And I turned around and I said, "No, I don't have a problem, man." And he said, "You got a problem now." And then he was here and he punched me in the face.
Being over 6 foot tall, he closed the gap between he and I very quickly and sucker punched me and broke my nose.
Oh, I didn't know he was that tall. All right, so they said that George Zimmerman is 5'7", And now they're saying that Trayvon Martin was over 6 feet tall.
When he broke my nose, I lost my footing. I was disoriented. He pushed me down. Somehow he got on top of me. My head was about halfway onto the concrete, and my body was mostly on the grassy area. And he just kept slamming it. He kept pummeling me with punches, decided to beat my head into the concrete sidewalk. I started screaming, help, help, as loud as I could. Kept going through my mind is get your head off the pavement. You're going to lose consciousness.
911, do you need police, paramedical? Both, I'm not sure. There's just someone screaming outside.
So they tried to say in another news that was Trayvon screaming for help, but that's this guy screaming for help because he's getting his butt kicked.
Being on my back, all the blood from my broken nose was
Right, here's the evidence. You see the broken nose. Again, you can see injuries here. Just like, when they tried to say they didn't see any injuries on Shanquilla, injuries show up. Broken bones show up. You can see this nose is not aligned. It's out of alignment.
Going down my throat and essentially choking me. He was also trying to
He said he's choking on his own blood.
Smother me and stop my cries for help while he was in the midst of raining down blows on me. Somebody here opened the door.
Trayvon Martin was on top, correct?
Correct.
And he was the one who was raining blows down on the person on the bottom, George Zimmerman, right?
That's what it looked like.
And he yelled at him, stop, stop, I'm calling the police. Even with Mr. Good yelling that he was calling the police, Trayvon didn't stop. He didn't let up at all. He continued his attack.
And then what did you do to get out of the situation?
I had shimmied my body down the grass to get my head off of the concrete sidewalk. It made my jacket ride up my body and exposed my firearm that had been concealed. I felt his arm going down to my side, and I grabbed it. I didn't really remember that I had the firearm on me, and I didn't think it would ever come into play. And I just grabbed my firearm and I shot one time. After I fired the shot, I believed I didn't even shoot him. I didn't think I hit him because he sat up and he said, oh, you got me. I thought he was simply stating that.
Now he's giving that interview the next day. The next day.
He wasn't going to fight anymore. He knew that I got to the gun before he...
I didn't know that that's how it happened. The way I had heard it or understood it back in 2012 when this thing first happened is that he was just walking down the street with the hoodie on and dude, said what you doing in the neighborhood and then, shot him. And that's how I saw it. So that's why I was outraged when, they said that he was, acquitted on self-defense, stand your ground. So, I didn't know anything about, him being knocked the head on the concrete and punched and, fighting for his life and actually, getting to the gun first. And, so.
He did. I know you have a gun now. I heard it. I'm giving up. My first reaction was concern for my neighbors. Where did the bullet go? Because of the position we were in, my shot would have gone into one of their bedrooms.
And that stunning video takes us right into the police station behind me.
What were your feelings initially as to how the justice system would work?
I had a great amount of respect and belief in the criminal justice system. In fact, I did a reenactment the day after with the police without an attorney present. I did several interviews without an attorney present. I even did a computerized voice stress analysis, which is similar to a lie detector test, without an attorney present. I believed that the justice system would work, but I still had to deal with the fact that I had taken a life. I was absolutely devastated. He wasn't that much older than the eldest mentee that I had. I was destroyed emotionally.
I drove to the courthouse, a regal-looking building on the outskirts of town. During the trial, the front was filled with television trucks from all over the country, even the world. The extensive grounds had room for hundreds of protesters, maybe thousands.
Jessica says, we don't really know what happened. Trayvon is not here to tell his side. However, we do see that the guy has injuries. He has injuries. He had the injuries to the back of his head, the lacerations, a broken nose. He had to have received that some kind of way. And like I said, back then in 2012, I didn't know that he had received any injuries. I just thought it was he walking down the street, saw the dude in his neighborhood and shot him. I didn't know anything about an altercation at all.
I went inside to check out the courtroom.
Just came from a tour of the courtroom. The deputies took me inside, and I could see how small it was. Anybody who's speaking in that courtroom, it is so tight in there, you just know if they're telling the truth or not.
These proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
I saw where Rachel Jantel testified. It's very close to the audience.
A letter she sent to Trayvon Martin's mother describing what she heard.
Did you sign it at the bottom?
Yes.
What name did you use?
Diamond Eugene. Diamond Eugene.
All right, look. So here's a letter written in cursive, right? The whole letter is written in cursive, yet the person signs it in print. All right, so I just want you, I'm bringing this up now because they're going to prove that this is a fake lady, that she's not even this Diamond Eugene person. That they put fake witnesses in here to try to seal the fate of George Zimmerman.
Diamond Eugene.
The effects of this trial are still being felt throughout.
Look at that.
The country. It really changed the United States. Can you tell me anything that he might have told you during these final moments that no one knows about?
He went face down into the grass, and I heard him say, "Tell Mama Alicia I'm sorry."
Next, I went to check out the retreat at Twin Lakes. Still thinking about Trayvon's final words to George, "Tell Mama Alicia I'm sorry." I had read Trayvon was raised by his stepmother, Alicia Stanley.
You were his stepmother for a long, long time.
Yes, for 14 years.
14 years.
Trayvon was about 3 when I met his father. And Trayvon was to our house in my home 90% of the time. I'm the one that went to them football games. I'm the one was there when he was sick.
Trayvon had been sent to Sanford by his mother, Sabrina Fulton, because he had been suspended from school for the 3rd time in 3 months.
I was not looking forward to this, but I had to come and check it out.
I want people to know that he wanted to live with me and his father.
What was Alicia Stanley trying to tell the world?
Lasagna time. The bread is in the oven.
After he saw George, Trayvon could have walked to his father's girlfriend's house in about 20 seconds. Instead, he spent 4 minutes on the phone with his girlfriend and circled back to lash out at George. Why would Trayvon attack someone and refuse to let up? What was going on in his life that led to this terrible decision? I decided I needed to get to know Trayvon. If the media would not tell Trayvon's real story, maybe Trayvon's own words would. Florida is an open record state. This means every document from every court case is available upon request. So I ordered up all the cell phone records in the Zimmerman case. They said it would take about 2 weeks. Apparently, Trayvon Martin's phone records had to be
So I wonder if we could order up those phone records of the Cabo Six in some way. I don't know. Isn't that interesting? He said he can order cell phone records. Or is that just because Trayvon is deceased? I don't know.
Subpoenaed because his father refused to give them to police. Then the prosecutors tried very hard to keep the records out of court. In fact, the defense spent 2/3 of their time demanding discovery. This was hard to understand because that's how Trayvon's girlfriend was discovered as an ear witness.
Her testimony that
Look at there. Look at who that is. And I didn't know, I'm just learning about him through Shanquilla Robinson.
on these phone logs. She completely blows Zimmerman's absurd self-defense claim out of the water. Mr. Martin, on Sunday evening, he had called the young lady.
And I am for it. And then the man, and then he said he lost the man.
They were dating.
And then the man called, and then Trayvon said the man still was following him.
You call it puppy love or whatever you want to call it.
And Trayvon asked for Trayvon to run. And Trayvon said, they ain't gonna run like that.
She is a minor child.
He's gonna walk back on the back.
Her parents does not in any way want to reveal her identity. She is a minor.
To the phone shut off. And I called him again. He had not answered the phone.
We have all the evidence now.
It was an incredible discovery. Within 72 hours,
So was he part of the case, or was he just for this whole Black Lives Matter?
to finding her, their detective work paid off, big time. Barack Obama got on board.
My main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
Basketball superstar LeBron James and the NBA were in too.
Star player LeBron James writing R.I.P. Trayvon Martin on his shoe.
You know, for us to be in the position we're in, we're happy that we're able to share along the situation that's unjust.
And Chicago Congressman Bobby Rush, the former Black Panther leader, helped put the pressure on the House floor.
Racial profiling has to stop, Mr. Speaker.
The member will.
These words. He has shown you, oh God, bless Trayvon Martin's soul. He was a black man wearing a hoodie in a white neighborhood, shot in the head.
Black youth were organized and mobile.
They said he was shot in the chest. See how they changing up the narrative? And I didn't hear anything about, the altercation, the assault. But you can't say nothing because look at all these people here, all these black people that's enraged, outraged because of the past treatment that we have received as a community. And now they're putting this narrative out there and we are developing. I know I was upset too and, tired of this crap when that's not even the case. It wasn't the case. Anisha said, sad, vigilantes can be dangerous. Trayvon Martin was suspicious of Zimmerman, who inserted himself and approached him. Well, most people, as Trayvon Martin did, would fight if they could flee, if they couldn't flee. But the sounds of it, he approached him from the back and said, hey, do you call him out? So if he was afraid, he approached George Zimmerman.
Mobilized into student.
Do you have a problem? No, I don't have a problem. Well, you got one now. And then he commenced to whooping his behind. And when the neighbor looked out the door, he said that Trayvon had him on the ground, just like George had described, and was raining down blows on him. He told him to stop, and he didn't. He kept on beating him up, beating and ramming his head against the concrete until when the gun was exposed. And now we both fight the struggle to get the gun, and he just happened to get it first.
Walkouts to protest. The phone witness had contradicted all the other evidence and ignited the public.
They put this phone witness out there to ignite the public. To ignite the public. But they didn't say anything about what happened. And just keep listening, because we're going to soon find out that the phone witness is a fake, that they just put, they brought the person in there. The same.
Here to demand that the state of
this Ben Crump brought in this fake witness. A fake witness.
attorney charge this homeowners association loose cannon with murder.
And it is the search for justice for Trayvon that has brought us to this moment.
Soon enough, a special prosecutor was assigned and George Zimmerman was arrested.
Wow.
Today, we filed an information charging George Zimmerman with murder in the second degree.
The prosecutor did not make a decision based on public pressure.
See there? They are painting a narrative. Y'all don't see that? With all all the stuff that they said, putting out the fake witness and painting the picture, they had the prosecutors now file these charges against George when he was answering these questions without an attorney because he didn't feel he did anything wrong.
Let me emphasize that we do not prosecute by public pressure or by petition.
All right, 2 million won justice for Trayvon. Why didn't they do all of this when we had a real situation with Shanquilla? They didn't protest them getting any of this petition stuff when this guy initiated the attack. That's what I'm saying. They are changing the narrative to make this look, to make bad look good and good look evil.
I want to especially thank Mr. Crump.
Wow, she especially thanked Mr. Crump.
The cell phone document finally arrived. It was overwhelming. 750 pages, including over 1,500 contacts, almost 3,000 text messages, and 3,000 photos. It even had GPS coordinates fixing Trayvon's locations.
Wow.
Although massive, I knew I would have to read it many times, and I would learn more about Trayvon than even his friends and family knew. My first challenge, though, was to learn some urban English, starting with the word Nigga. Used repeatedly, it carried no stigma and simply meant dude. I learned jit was child, boo was sweetheart, bae was babe, brew was brother, deuces meant get lost, slid meant tired, G-shit was keeping it real, kush was marijuana, and OG and OB were old boy and old girl, mom and dad. Then there was urban shorthand to learn, like finna, pose, cuz, good, dough, and WYA, where you at? I also learned words like dod, dis, dat, wit, what, day, and nah for now. Now I was ready to get down with my bad self.
Yeah.
In the fall of 2011, Trayvon's activities seemed to revolve around school, church, and going to the movies with female friends. His cell phone contacts were loaded with images of girls blowing kisses, girls showing a little skin, and more girls. Closest to Trayvon seemed to be 4 former girlfriends who were somewhat similar, about 5'3", thin, and 2 years younger than him. They all had nicknames, so I cross-referenced their phone numbers and email addresses to locate their Facebook pages to identify them. These included Sunshine. She was Ashley Birch. She would greet Trayvon almost every morning. Good morning, sunshine. You want to go to Galaxy this weekend? Yeah, if I have money. Daisha Mitchell appears to have been Trayvon's sweetheart in junior high and was now just a good friend. What you doing tonight? Chilling, you? Sammy was Samantha Mason, another friend. Where you at? Leaving the movies. Which movie you seen? Really was Faith Miller. She thought of herself as Trayvon's girlfriend in early 2012. What you doing? Nothing, with my cousins. Everybody loves Raymond. Faith was literally the preacher's daughter. Her father was a Baptist minister. Faith seemed like a sweet girl. Faith.
All these girls look beautiful. Like he said, they, petite, little, thin somethings, right? Keep in mind what we saw on the witness stand.
Faith was in love with Trayvon. Trayvon's text messages with his mother, Sabrina, seem fairly routine. Please clean up today. My church day is tomorrow. I cleaned up my room. Am I free to go? She planned family get-togethers and communicated typical mom things. As up, soldier, rise and shine. I'm up, Captain. Trayvon sported tattoos of his mother and grandmother, Nana. There wasn't much communication between Trayvon and his father, Tracy. His past couldn't have been a great influence on him.
Mr. Martin, have you ever been arrested?
Yes, I've been arrested. Possession of a controlled substance.
In 1989, Tracy Martin was a drug courier. He flew into St. Louis with 2 kilos of pure cocaine with a street value of over $1 million and was arrested at the airport. Tracy pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute and spent the next several years at Leavenworth. He also had a tattoo on his neck, Crippin' all the time, implying allegiance to the Crips gang. Tracy quickly had the Crips tattoo covered with praying hands once Trayvon's case started to get media attention.
Wow, looky.
Some of Trayvon's male friends seemed like bad news. His best friend was Mario, whom Trayvon called Bru, meaning brother. His real name was Romario Caradis. Trayvon and Mario seemed to go way back. However, Mario could not have been a good influence. His Twitter account image was a gang sign. He made sure everyone knew he was in a gang. He even used fake gold teeth. On a video on Mario's Facebook page, he's showing off his guns and practicing to shoot with friends.
Hey, hold on, bro. That's that shit.
He shot at targets of people. The Miami gang culture was very big and plenty of trouble, and it was all around them. Mario was also friends with Stefan Bramble, another close friend of Trayvon. Trayvon called him Steve O. On Stefan Bramble's Facebook page, I was shocked to see a video he posted smoking marijuana with Trayvon and some underage kids. That nigga Trayvon always got joints for the block. My nigga Trey did love to smoke. Stefan Bramble seemed like more bad news for Trayvon. Photos showed Stefan liked to drink lean. It's made from codeine or cough syrup and a soft drink to get high. He also smoked a lot of pot and seemed to sell it, and made a lot of money doing it too.
Wow.
The video showed he was proud of it. Stefan Bramble was also into handguns and even machine guns. It didn't seem to bother him that little kids were around.
Wow.
Not surprisingly, Trayvon's 2 closest friends, Mario and Stefan, would later find themselves in trouble with the law. In the fall of 2011, Trayvon's behavior took a sudden, dark turn. His pastimes now included street fighting, drugs, and guns. By this time, Trayvon was using the Twitter handle No Limit Nigga, the name of a street gang.
No limit gangster. No limit gangster.
After he was kicked out by his mother, Trayvon's friend Ayanna Fleming, tried to warn Trayvon, but he wasn't listening. My mom kicked me out. The police caught me out of school. So you just turning into a little hoodlum. Nah, I'm a gangster. Boy, don't get one planted in your chest. I'm scared.
Wow.
You should be.
And that's exactly what happened. He got one planted in his chest. Wow. Wow.
The images and text messages on Trayvon's cell phone.
I mean, it's super sad that anybody dies. But how many black kids are killed by other black kids? How many black people are killed by other black people? And what I'm saying is that they're taking these things and trying to purposely make it racially motivated when it wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
Showed that Trayvon was heavily into marijuana. He was a regular consumer. Can we smoke one last time? Weed head? I got weed and I get money Friday.
Did you know whether or not he was smoking weed?
No, I did not.
Trayvon's cousin Booby, Stephen Martin, tried to warn him not to deal drugs, but Trayvon wouldn't listen. I ain't your parent, but G shit, throw it away. Why you gotta knock my hustle?
The kids call it Skittles or Triple C, but you know it as cough syrup.
Like his good friend Stephon Brown.
Oh, and they said that he was at the store buying Skittles. Wait a minute. Maybe he said that's what they call it. Unless they used the Skittles for something.
Trayvon was into lean to get high. The ingredients included cough syrup, a soft drink, and candy.
Cough medicine contains dextromethorphan, a dangerous hallucinogenic.
Trayvon was trying to score codeine from his friend Mackenzie Bakash. You know, a connect for codeine. I had it before. Just use Robitussin and soda to make some fire-ass lean. Codeine is a higher dose of DXM. A week before his death, his text messages showed that guns and gun...
These poor dummies don't even know the recipe that's in the codeine that's, anyway.
dealing were coming into play for Trayvon. Dario was Darius Morrow. On Facebook, he went by D Stacks. You got heat? I got a bill right now for some fi. A bill was $100 and fi meant firearms. Quay was Trayvon's cousin, Ronquavius Fulton.
Money on my mind, constant with this grind.
He was in on the gun dealing too. You want a .22 revolver? What shooter? Tell fool I got 80 for him right now. Shooter was brand and fool meant friend.
Were you aware of a conversation about getting a .22 handgun?
Objection. No.
Would that surprise you?
Yes, that would.
Trayvon was also dealing guns with his friend, Spoonhead Zachary Witherspoon.
And see, again, look at his mama trying to act and portray him as all innocent and stuff when she had just sent him to go live with his pops because he was getting in trouble. So now the other sad thing is that we, as Black women, we coddle and protect and try to cover up for these Black men, Black young men who's doing wrong. Now she's trying to act all brand new like she had no clue he out there in the streets. Come on now. We need to take accountability and responsibility.
You know somebody with some 38? Yeah, 150. I'm finna cop a 38 for a face. Face meant marijuana. In 3 months, Trayvon was suspended from school 3 times. He had a video on his cell phone of street fighting. What you doing? Watching videos on World Star Fights. Trayvon's YouTube channel had videos of fighting and mixed martial arts. Each time he got suspended, his mother kicked him out and sent him to live with his father. Pack up your clothes. I love you, but I think you being with your dad is best. Pack up your clothes now.
You never knew that he was being considered for expulsion?
No, I did not.
This is the first time I ever heard of that.
Trayvon's friends were concerned. Why you always fighting, man? You got suspended? I lost the first round, but won the second and third. You ain't tell me you swung on a bus driver.
Swung on the bus driver. He knew he was getting ready to get into a fight. He was about to whoop George Zimmerman's butt. That's why he crept up from behind him when he knew he was being followed. He wanted to get his practice on.
I was watching a fight and a teacher said I hit him. Stop, you ain't gonna be satisfied till you get suspended again, huh? My mom just told me I gotta move. You had a fight this year? Damn, bro, I got kicked out. You fighting? Suspended, fighting. What you fighting for? That nigga snitched on me. The Urban Dictionary defines snitches as motherfuckers who gets their ass beat up. He ain't bleed enough for me, only his nose. This text exchange sounded too familiar.
He had marijuana in his system.
I had to wonder if Trayvon thought George was snitching on him for smoking pot. The Zimmerman and Trayvon deceptions would pale in comparison to the greatest deception of them all.
Did he have a girlfriend back then before he passed?
No.
With only 5 days to live, Trayvon was back on the bus to Orlando, texting with his girlfriend, Diamond. Often, their texts were highly sexual. Just got back on the bus. Shit, babe, I missed some sex. You should have been on the bus. Diamond loved to ride. Just dick is yours. That you tell me, you should know. Diamond, the girl who stole Trayvon's heart, was different than the others. She was a badass, boastful, confident, and overtly sexual. I am gorgeous, fabulous, sexy, and hoe will always hate on this Diamond.
It don't look like the big girl that was up on the witness stand that Crump found.
They want what I got. I would like to show you some move. I won't see you so bad right now. How you want me? I want in every way. In February 2012, Diamond's text exchanges with Trayvon averaged 50 per day, and they spoke on the phone for about 5 hours every day, including the last day of his life. Diamond was always getting herself ready for prime time. What are you doing? Taking a hot bath? I want to join. I bet you do. I'm doing my hair now. You already started putting the weave in? Yeah. Text messages between Diamond and Trayvon were often loving. Diamond? Sweetheart. Good morning, bae. Happy Valentine's Day, bae. Give me a kiss. You want to be my ride to die, nigga? Bae. Ride to die meant we are a couple. We ride together and we die together. Whatever happens to me, happens to you, because we stay together. After obsessively rereading Trayvon's text messages about 100 times, as I set out to do, I had come to know Trayvon. And, surprisingly, now I knew Diamond too, almost personally. Shit, I love my duck ass. I knew her vibe, her jive, and her attitude well enough to know that something was very wrong here. Diamond was attractive, highly sexualized, and self-confident in the extreme. Rachel Gentel was none of this.
Who the hell is this?
Did Trayvon really beg to jump into a bathtub with Rachel? Yet Rachel was the girl we all saw at the trial claiming to be Diamond.
My name.
That's cold-blooded. They brought in a fake person to convict this man.
Was a lie.
That's a name that you made up?
That's my nickname.
But your last name isn't Eugene.
That's my mother.
Trayvon's girlfriends were all short, thin, and younger than him. Rachel Gentel was a year older and outweighed him by 100 pounds. And there was no duck ass. I checked Trayvon's contacts. There was no Rachel Gentel. There was an entry for Diamond with her phone number used with Trayvon, but no photo. Trayvon often implored Diamond to text photos, and she always obliged. Send me a pic. You got the pic? Yeah. I then went through the 3,000 photos stored on Trayvon's phone, yet there was no picture of Rachel Gentel, who was unmistakable. Then I recalled Trayvon often called Diamond Bae for babe. Morning, Bae. Be safe, Bae. Hey, Bae. I just got home, Bae. Sure enough, there was a contact for Bae right next to the phone number used by Diamond. However, the photo of Bae was not Rachel Gentel. Even though Bae wore a long weave and a ton of light makeup, no sighted person could possibly confuse her with Rachel Gentel. How could the state of Florida prosecutors not have seen this?
They tried to switch in the new person playing Dejanay. They had the little one.
The young lady completely connects the dots.
I quickly
See that? Who's behind this?
Downloaded Benjamin Crump's 20-minute phone call with Diamond. That interview was 3 weeks after Trayvon was killed on
Wow. See how they do stuff weeks afterwards and they start bringing up all these lies and stuff? 3 weeks after, now he comes with this fake story, and you see how he was trying to say, well, she's a minor, so y'all can't really talk to her. You have to take my word for it that this is what happened.
March 19, 2012. Then I downloaded the recording of Rachel Gentel's deposition with prosecutor Bernie De La Rionda from exactly 2 weeks later on April 2nd. I selected similar phrases from each interview and compared them, listening over and over.
What you doing around here?
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 Trayvon, you might walk.
Trayvon, start walking.
Trayvon, you might walk.
Trayvon, start walking.
Their voices shared little. The tone, inflection, syntax, rhythm, and accents didn't match.
When you was walking out the store.
When you leaving the store.
When you was walking out the store.
When you leaving the store.
Okay, run to your house.
I told him run to the house.
Okay, run to your house.
I told him run to the house.
Diamond spoke fluidly and with confidence. The terminology was different too.
If his headset like still.
Because the headphone, he might got off.
If his headset like still.
Because the headphone, he might got off.
Even the stories were different.
Raining hard.
It was not raining.
Raining hard.
It was not raining.
Next, I decided to listen to Rachel Gentel's April 2nd deposition. At 6 p.m. that day, Sabrina guided the police to Diamond's house. She knew the address because she had driven the real Diamond home from her house 2 weeks earlier. However, when they arrived at the redacted address, they were sent to a different house where, who showed up at the door but Rachel Gentel? I wanted to know the redacted address and put in a request for the original document. I was guessing the first address was where the real Diamond lived.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
Rachel Gentel.
She is a 16-year-old teenager. How old are you now?
18.
Prosecutors had to subpoena Diamond's phone records because she refused to provide them.
Is that phone number under your name or under somebody else's name?
It should be now under my name.
Okay.
In fact, the cell phone account was Simple Mobile and was prepaid with no identifying information. It was probably transferred to Rachel that day.
Did you consider yourselves dating?
No.
Were you kind of his girlfriend or just kind of you guys? Okay, you're getting there. That day, February 26th, did Trayvon send you any text messages?
In fact, they exchanged 32 text messages that day.
Did Trayvon ever say the guy's coming at me is going to hit me?
Yeah.
You ever say the guy got out of the car?
You want that too? Yeah, you could say that. These are other clues when the person is lying, because the truth just is the truth. There's no kind of, sort of, yeah, you could say that.
By now, it was obvious that Rachel Gentel was just making things up as she went. At the end of the interview, she actually tries to tell the prosecutor she's lying, but he doesn't get it.
I got guilt.
You got guilt? Why do you feel guilt?
Real guilty.
Huh?
Real guilty.
Why do you feel real guilty?
I ain't know about it.
Huh?
I ain't know about it.
Rachel did not know about it because she was not Diamond.
Dramatic testimony emerging late this afternoon in George Zimmerman's murder trial. Jurors getting to hear from the woman who was on the phone with Trayvon Martin just moments before he was shot and killed.
The most memorable moment of the trial was Rachel talking about a letter the real Diamond had given to Sabrina Fulton.
Are you able to read that copy well enough that you can tell us if it's in fact the same letter?
No.
Are you unable to read that at all?
I don't understand.
Wow. So this little heifer can't even read. And here's somebody.
Cursive. I don't read cursive.
But you wrote cursive? She just sat there and said that she can't read. She don't read cursive, right? But this is supposed to be a letter that she wrote that's in cursive. That's why in the beginning I told y'all to pay attention that the letter is written in cursive, but the person signs. If nothing else, if you print it, you would at least sign your name in cursive. But how can you write an entire letter in cursive writing, yet you can't read cursive? Why didn't they? Hopefully they threw this out.
The letter detailed everything Diamond said she heard, yet Sabrina kept the evidence secret for a year, tucked away in her Bible until just before the trial.
Wow.
Had you disclosed this to the state before yesterday?
No,
Did you discuss this with your attorney, the existence of this letter?
I did not.
Did you consider this letter significant?
I consider that letter to be personal and sentimental.
In fact, there was nothing personal about it. It was only a narrative of the phone call with Trayvon, and that was it. There was no Dear Sabrina, no feelings, and it ended with simply, "Thank you, Diamond Eugene."
What did you do once you read it?
I've received several letters, so I put it in a box.
Meanwhile, Tracy Martin got
Sounds like a lie. Wow.
very nervous when he was asked about Diamond's letter.
Was it ever read to you?
I have no knowledge of what was in the letter. Never read it, never had it read to me, never had it sent to me, never had it in my possession.
The closer I looked at the letter, the deeper and deeper I was drawn into it. I sensed it must have some great significance in the cover-up of who Diamond really was.
I did not write the letter, though.
Oh, who wrote the letter for you?
I told Francine to write it. I tell her what to write.
Rachel claimed a woman who worked for Trayvon's mother, Francine Serve, wrote the letter for her.
Did you know Francine?
Yes.
From the fact that she was helping out with your brother?
Yes.
I had identified all the callers on Diamond's phone records by doing background checks online, one by one. Soon enough, I was able to assign a name to every number. Diamond.
So how could that letter even have been admissible in court? Like, that's just, come on. All right, yeah.
His best friend was the beautiful Felicia Cineas, who was also 16. Every day, Diamond and Felicia texted and called each other almost nonstop, from 5 a.m. until midnight. Felicia went to Michael Crop High School and knew Trayvon. Diamond's best friend Felicia's older sister was none other than Francine Serve. This was interesting. More background checks revealed that in 2016, both Francine and Felicia were convicted of identity fraud involving fraudulent use of credit cards and grand theft.
Wow.
These people were not shy about swapping identities.
I did say, my name is Diamond Eugene. I signature as Diamond Eugene.
I decided to look for Rachel's signature and compare it to the one on the letter. I found it on a 2015 traffic citation. It looked like Rachel could barely write. Though I'm not a handwriting expert, I didn't believe for 1 second that Rachel had signed the name Diamond Eugene. I began to wonder if any of the witnesses in this case could be trusted, including Diamond herself. Crump was leading the witness.
Let me do this here. Let me have you start over just saying that there, okay? And say it loud and slow for me, okay? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Action. Woo! And action. Come on.
Situation is complicated. It's racial. It is racial. It was an innocent boy.
There, it's racial. See, look at that. Come on now.
No.
She was just repeating back to Crump the narrative he'd said on the news.
All he had was a bag of Skittles and an iced tea.
To make some lean.
Say it loud and slow.
Even worse, whatever Crump said, Diamond simply agreed with him.
Did Trayvon sound scared?
Yeah.
Did Trayvon sound normal throughout the whole day since you had talked to him?
Yeah. Yeah, you sound really happy.
I had to laugh. Diamond knew Trayvon was not happy that day because of Diamond. You said I'm a waste of your time. It what it is, you really hurt a nigga feelings. It whatever, you done with me? Nigga, go fuck a hoe. Crump slipped up when he told Court TV, what was obvious to me. Diamond was coerced.
This interview happened, Jane, because we pushed her making a statement.
For 3 weeks, Diamond was hammered by calls and texts from Trayvon's two best friends, Mario and Stefan Bramble. The tag team pressured Diamond with three-way calls with Felicia, too. By the third week, Diamond caved in.
How did you locate witness number 8?
Mr. Martin got his phone bill, and he saw the last person that was on the phone, and it was this witness.
Only the media could fall for Crump's story of discovering Diamond.
Wow. 1, 2, 3.
Out of the blue on March 18. Diamond had a lot going on in March 2012. Some calls seemed routine, like fast food. Diamond loved Pizza Hut and Chinese food. She was also concerned about skincare. There were regular calls to financial institutions, a little suspicious for someone too young to have a credit card and calling from an untraceable prepaid phone. There were 21 texts and 6 phone calls with Trayvon's mom, Sabrina Fulton.
Good morning, Matt. Hey, good morning, Robin. We've been following this story for a few weeks now.
There were 74 texts and 4 phone calls.
So his mom was in on this too? That's sad.
Between Diamond and ABC News correspondent Matt Gutman, including calls late at night and early in the morning.
Wow.
There were also regular calls between Diamond and Rachel Gentile, and a call to Benjamin Crump on March 31st, just before Rachel's deposition.
Wow.
Clearing my head after weeks of research, I realized I had just uncovered the most flagrant judicial fraud in modern times. But even with all the phone records, I still could not identify.
And we can see that today they are just as blatant with the whole fake autopsies that we see in the Shanquilla Robinson case. Like, do y'all see how this ain't nothing new for them? They've been doing this whole hocus pocus fake stuff since the beginning of time. Because the whole thing for me, I was just like, why did 5 months later did they say this if they had already did that? Why all this stuff? And this is proof right here that this is what they do. They just go ahead and make and create their own narrative and find witnesses and plug in the numbers and do what it is that they want to do.
Identify Diamond. Maybe it wasn't accidental. There were over 100 texts missing. Why did Diamond have to be forced to come forward? Why was Rachel Gentile substituted as a fake witness? And who knew? The George Zimmerman case had started the modern era of fake news and race hoaxes. Had the truth been exposed at trial, the whole course of recent history would have been different. There would be no Black Lives Matter movement. The city of Ferguson might not have blown up. Colin Kaepernick might still be playing for the 49ers. And thousands of young African Americans might have been spared the lethal consequences of the Ferguson effect.
Wow.
But to tell this story, I had to find Diamond. I needed to know the backstory. I had to understand the culture, the street life, even the geography of Diamond's world, if I was going to find her.
Okay, so this is a pretty lengthy one here, so I'm going to stop here, and then I got some more shorts that we'll show, and then we can pick up on this at a later time. But I just think it's pretty significant that we have, this attorney, Ben Crump, way back then doing this kind of stuff. And how people are talking about this whole critical race theory and that they're making this kind of stuff up. Like I had heard, recently hearing about this stuff, but I really had no clue that this kind of stuff was really going on. Just like I said, when I heard the story back in 2012, I honestly, the way it was told, I understood it to where this George Zimmerman, this racist dude in his neighborhood, saw a Black guy in the neighborhood with the hoodie on and, shot him up and said he was standing his ground, and not all of this. I mean, just to know these things, it's like, this is crazy. This is crazy. Crazy, crazy. Sharon says, my opinion is that Zimmerman struggled with Trayvon Martin and he may have been injured, but Trayvon Martin was fighting for his life, not knowing Zimmerman was armed. Zimmerman would not leave his car unarmed. Bold. Yeah, I agree that he wouldn't have left his car unarmed. However, he didn't initiate the fight with um, Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin let him go. He came up from behind him and said, "You got a problem now. You got a problem? No, I don't have no problem. Well, you got one now," and just started doing the thing. And we already see that he has a history of fighting. He likes to fight. He gets off on fighting. So some punk white boy walking around the neighborhood, he found a problem. You got one now. Like that sounds more plausible than little 5'7" George coming out there starting to fight when he already had the strap. Why would he be in the fight if he already had the strap? If he had the gun already, what is he fighting for? He would have just blasted Trayvon from the beginning. They said he's over 6 feet. He's 6 foot tall. Like, why would he be fighting? Like that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make sense. It sounds exactly like how it was explained that he was doing too much with his little neighborhood watch, and that's what got him into the trouble of getting assaulted by Trayvon. Yep. So, nope, 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 nope. Yeah. So, this is this is this is how they utilize. This is how they take advantage of us and take advantage of us and steer us in these weird directions on believing some false narrative. But Jessica says Zimmerman is no saint. He's been in trouble multiple times after the trial, beating women and lots more. Yeah, I'm not saying that anybody is a saint. I'm just saying that to create something and make up stories, that's not right. You know, it wasn't right when they was doing that kind of stuff to us back in the day. And it's not right to do it today and to try to look at all of the riots and all of the heated energy that went after that when it wasn't even the case. I'm saying that the whole thing is fake and that we get herded off into being upset about this, but when a real victim approaches, a woman victim, I'm just showing you how they do all this stuff and make up stuff to support these men who are, bottom of the barrel. And then when a legitimate woman is actually injured by one of them, I'm showing you the connection between the Black Lives Matter, putting a lot of money off into the transgender community, the Black Lives Matter using the governor or the person that was running for governor using these Black Lives Matters for political jumping posts. Yep. Jessica say, I don't understand why when you are on trial, how do you get the opinion to take the stand? The option to take the stand. I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't understand why when you're on trial, how do you get the option to take the stand? But if I witness the I get subpoenaed. I need to be cross-examined. I think they give all of the defendants the option to take the stand. Did he take the stand on his trial? I don't know. Like I said, it's a pretty long documentary, and I don't know if they actually get to that. But I'm saying from thus far, this portion that's happening thus far is, it's totally going to support what the people were saying about these Black Lives Matter being, full of bologna sandwiches and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Hopefully this is. Yeah. I'm just surprised because this here is going back to show how, you know, 10 years later, look at how much destruction has happened because of this whole thing. How much destruction has happened. And two, when are the women going to put up all that energy to do something for women's rights, for the rights of women? Women, you know, supporting women and stuff. So anyway, I had showed y'all this little short the other day, and here's another one too. This is with Tasha K fighting these T people. Let's see. Jessica said he didn't take the stand. I'm saying, why do they get the option? They should be forced to take the stand too. But a lot of times, you know, they probably know because they they should be forced to take the stand. So, but if they, you know, trying to get off on it, if you guilty, you ain't trying to take no stands. So they can, those trained professionals could, you know, really get you, and you could actually make it worse for yourself by saying some stuff. Okay. So, okay, here's some more little quick shorts to kind of support this whole race stuff as being kind of a setup. And to show that it's not just Black people that get this, that they do this profile to white people too. Here's a quick short of a young white kid, teenager, you know, being harassed by some police officers.
What's being done about?
If you try and come past me, you're going to go on the ground face first. Do you understand me?
Okay, and then I'm going to file a complaint against you. Go grab your camera. Yes, I'm allowing you to do that, but you cannot walk in my house. Okay, bye. I have 3 cops on me, and I'm 15 years old. Because you guys intruded my house.
So you were the one driving up and down the street on a motorcycle?
I was on my gas bicycle.
Okay, that's a gas-powered vehicle. You have to have a driver's license.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Not when it's 50cc and you have a permit for it.
Look at them walking off because they know they're wrong. They just got told by the little 15-year-old. So now their ego has been offended.
I'm staying next to my car, so I'm going to go talk to over here. Can I go around him?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Please don't walk up behind me, okay?
I asked him.
Okay.
So.
He just tried to mess with him.
Yes.
Beat us up or anything?
Yes.
Okay. What did he say?
He goes, that bike is illegal. I said, no, it's not. It's a 50cc bicycle, and I have a permit for it.
Okay. If you try and come past me, you're going to go on the ground face first. Do you understand me?
Okay, and then I'm gonna. That's the threat right there, right? So it's not just the Black kids that's getting stuff. It's a thing. Some of these police officers take matters into their own hands and they do horrible things to people. All right, let's see here. This is a good one here. All right. So I'm putting a few more of these things out here just to kind of break the ice on this whole false sense of this whole racial stuff. A lot of this stuff that, like y'all see, they just putting it out there to keep us separated, to keep us divided.
White family worth is 69 times more than that of Black families. Given this disparity, how can you argue that racism is not a driving factor in income inequality?
Because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. And when you have a culture that doesn't, and when
said because it has nothing to do with race and everything to do with culture. Now he's trying to give an explanation and see how the Black people just acting like, you know, they don't want to listen to the truth.
when, you know what? Explain to me. You explain to me why Black kids aren't graduating high school. Explain that one to me. Explain to me why Black kids are shooting each other in rates significantly higher then whites are shooting each other. Explain to me why 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder. Explain to me why the number of black kids in prison, not for innocent reasons, not for walking down the street and getting pulled into a prison, is so high. Explain, if it has nothing to do with culture, explain to me why the single motherhood rate in the black community jumped from 20% to 70% in the same course of time that the civil rights movement has made such tremendous strides. Is America more racist now than it was in 1960? And if it is, please explain to me how that happened.
Wow. Okay, so this man came with statistics, honest statistics. And it's like we can't accept that. We want to take the bone on, okay, it's all racism and blame. You can't, that's the victim mentality. We need to take responsibility. Those were great questions that we need to have some answers to. So I'm going to close with, no, this ain't it. I'm going to close with another little quick short, and then, like I said, we'll pick back up on this. I'll check out some comments and stuff and see. But again, I'm connecting these dots, y'all. All this stuff. Yeah, this is what we're going to do here. Just so we can show that it's not just, here, this is what all right. This is a really good one. This here by Charleston White got a great point here, right? Great point.
That 18-year-old white boy shot them 10 black people. Let that have been 10 King Vons. They'll be tearing up Buffalo. Let that have been 10 George Floyds. They'll be tearing up Buffalo. But them was 10 innocent older people that an 18-year-old white boy drove 4 hours away to intentionally go kill black people with the word "nigger" wrote on his gun. Ain't no rapper mad about nothing. Ain't nobody saying what's his mama's address. Ain't nobody trying to find out where his cousin them live.
Yeah.
Nobody, homie. Let that be. No, man. So that's what get me about these niggas. They so gang and so gangster. So we got 18-year-old niggas that's killing. Look what they 18-year-old people killing for. They race. Our 18-year-old niggas just killing our own for nothing.
Yep.
That 18-year-old white boy shot them.
So, valid points. All right, thank y'all so much for bearing with me and listening to this too. And hopefully you've taken it with an open heart to just think about the truth, right? It doesn't matter about opinions. It's about the truth, the facts. Like I said, over here, we don't do delusional thinking. It's about math and science. And not all the time, we can't just stand in the fact and feel like we are right all the time just because we're black. And we can see that there's black people that are pulling the wool over the eyes of other black people. Right. So anyway, I have lots more stuff to share, but we're going to have to take a time to kind of ease our way into this, because for some reason, some of us tend to get angry and not able to just listen to the truth. Sometimes you got to get past your feelings and not take everything personal, or not be emotional about certain things, and be on the side of truth. Be okay with receiving and accepting the truth. So thank y'all so much. And again, I said these things make a difference because we can see who that attorney was, and putting these dots together and stuff. Yeah. And just like what Charleston White just said, that had been 10 George Floyds, like some loser people that wasn't doing anything, that was, all of a sudden we getting, outraged about that. But what did we do for those 10 older black people that got killed at church by a white guy? Nobody did anything. Where was the turn up for that? But they didn't come hurt you to turn up for that. They didn't come ignite and initiate any flames for that. All right. So I want us all to, take initiative to take possession of your own mind so you can be in charge of it, right? And not be hurted. Love y'all.